Right. Whenever you're ready.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I was told to do Sanskrit. I don't know what's changed.
Oh, okay. Let me just see what the message I got.
Sorry, Mataji, I was told as well. I don't know then. I'm so sorry.
Okay, here in the message that Santosh Mataji sent to me today says that,
To all the devotees, I seek your blessings. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter 11, verse 1. Arjuna Vacha Mad Anugraha Paramam Guhyam Adhyatma Sanjitam Yatyoktam Vachastena Mohoyam Vigito Mama.
Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about the most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled.
Text 2. Bhavapyo hi bhutanam shutyo vistarasho mea tvata kamala patraksha mahatmyam api chavyayam.
O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity and have realized your inexhaustible glories.
Text 3. Evametad yathatha tvam atmanam parameshwara drashtum ichchami te rupam aishwaram purushottama.
O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours.
Text 4. Manyase yadi tatshakyam maya drashtum iti prabho yogeshvara tato me tvam dashyatmanam avyam.
If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self.
Text 5. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Pashyami Partha Rupani Shatshotha Sahasrasha Nana Vidhani Divyani Nana Varna Kritini Cha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, O son of Buddha, see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of varied divine and multicolored forms.
Text 6. Pashyadityan Vashun Rudran Ashvinyo Marutastatha Bahuni Adrishta Purvani Pashyashcharyani Bharata.
O best of Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard of before.
Text 7. Ehekastham jagat kritsnam pashyadya sacharacharam mam dehe gudakesha yachanya drashtumikchasi.
O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything, moving and non-moving, is here completely in one place.
Text 8. Natu mam shakshase drashtum ananyeva swachakshusha divyam dadami te chakshu pashyami yogam ashwaram.
But you cannot see me with your present eyes, therefore I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence.
Text 9. Sanjay Vacha एवमुक्त्वा ततो राजन् महायोगेश्वरो हरि दर्श्याम् असा पार्थाय परमं रूपम् ऐश्वरम्.
Sanjaya said, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna.
Text 10 and 11. Anekavatra nayanam, aneka adbhuta darshanam, aneka divya bharanam, divya aneko dhatayudam, divya malyambaradharam, divya gandhanulepanam, sarvascharyamayam devam, anantam vishvato mukham.
Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all-expanding.
Text 12. Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhaved Yugapad Uttitha Yadi Bha Sadrishi Sasyad Bhasa Tasya Mahatmana.
If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form.
Text 13. Tatraikastham Jagat Kritsnam Prabhibhaktam Anekadha Apashya Deva Devasya Sharire Pandavastada.
At that time, Arjuna could see the universal form of the Lord, the unlimited expansion of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands.
Text 14. Tata sa vishmaya vishto rishtaroma dhananjaya pranamya shirsha devam kritanjali abhashata.
Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord.
Text 15. Arjuna vacha pashyami devam stav deva dehe sarvam statha bhuta vishesha sanghan brahmanam isham kamalashanastham rishim cha sarvan ugram cha divyan.
Arjuna said, My dear Lord, I see assembled in your body all the demigods, the various living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva, and all the sages and divine serpents.
Text 16. Aneka bahudra vaktra netram pashyami tvam sarvato nantarupam nantam na madhyam na punastavadim pashyami vishveshwara vishwarupa.
O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see your body, many arms. I see in your body many arms, bellies, mouths, and eyes expanded everywhere without limit. I see in you, no end, no middle, and no beginning.
Text 17. Kirtinam gadinam chakrinam cha tejorashim sarvato diptimantam pashyami tvam durniksham samantat diptanaraka dyutam aparamyam.
Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence, spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs.
Text 18. Tvam aksharam paramam viditvam tvam asya vishwasya paramam nidhanam tvam avyashashvata dharma gopata sanatana tvam purusho mato me.
You are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible, and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of the eternal religion, the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion.
Text 19. Anadi madhyantam ananta viryam ananta bahun shashi surya netram pashyami tam dipta hutasa vyaktam swatejasa vishwam idam tapantam.
You are without origin, middle, or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance.
Text 20. Dvaya prithvyor idam antaram hi vyaptam tvekena dishascha sarve drishtvadbhutam rupam ugram tavedam lokatrayam pravithitam mahatman.
Although you are one, you are spread throughout the sky and the planets, and all space between. O Great One, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed.
Text 21. Amihitvam surasanga vishanti kechid bhita pranjalyo grinanti swastiti uktva marishi siddha sangya stuvanti tvam stutibhi pushkalabhi.
All the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them, very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages and perfected beings crying, "All peace," are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns.
Text 22. Rudraditya vashvo ye cha sadhya vishve ashunyo marutasthoma pascha gandharva yaksha shura siddha sangha vikshante tvam vishmita cheva sarve.
All the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishvadevas, the two Ashwinis, the Maruts, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder.
Text 23. Rupam mahate bahuvaktra netram mahabahu bahurupadam bahuudram bahubdam strakaralam dishtva loka pravithita tathaham.
O mighty armed one, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed by seeing your great form, with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, and bellies, and your many terrible teeth. And as they are disturbed, so am I.
Text 24. Nabhasparsham diptam anekavarnam vyaktanam dipta vishalanetram dishtva hi tvam pravithitantaratma dhitim na bindami shamam cha Vishnu.
Oh, all-pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths, and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain steadiness or equilibrium of mind.
Text 25. Damsra karalani chate mukhani dishtva kalanala sannibhani disho na jane na labhe cha sharma prasida devesha jagannivasa.
O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the world, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions I am bewildered.
Text 26 and 27. Ami chatam dhritarashtrasya putra sarve sahbhavani pala sange bhishmo drona suta putras tathachu sahasmedir api yodha mukhe वक्त्राणि ते तरमान विशन्ति दंशाकरालानि भयानकानि केचिद् विलिग्ना दशान्तरेषु सन्दृश्यन्ते चूर्णितैरुत्तमङ्गाय.
All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and other chief soldiers also, are rushing into your fearful mouth, and some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Rajshri Mataji. That was very, very nice pronunciation. And Hitesh Prabhu, very nice English. It was nice and dramatic. It was almost like Sanjay was speaking himself. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, so let me just stop that. Okay, so we will continue reading from chapter 11 today. And a summary as usual. Let me just move that. Right. So the first section was text 1 to text 8 of the chapter 11. This was Arjuna's request and Krishna's description of his universal form. So in text 8, actually, Krishna says, now I'll give you before that there was a bit of a preview, and then he says, now I'll give you the divine vision, and then you can see it. And then he starts to describe. So this next section, which is from, I forgot to put the digit here. I think it's from 9 to 31, but I will check it up again. That section is describing Sanjay's describing Arjuna's vision to the Dhritarashtra. So in the last few verses, like 9, 10, 11, 12, from what I remember, Arjun is talking about he's seeing so many mouths, so many eyes, ornaments, weapons, garlands, everything is so brilliant, X, Y, Z. That is Arjun's initial vision. And then the last yesterday, the text 12, Arjun was actually comparing the effulgence to was it thousands or hundreds or maybe hundreds of thousands of suns. So this text Madhu Kumari did with you yesterday so nicely. So this was the last way where it was actually Arjun was saying that this is like Sanjay is describing that Arjun is seeing this, that this the effulgence of this universal form is so bright that it compares to hundreds of thousands of suns rising at the same time. So you can imagine what that sight must be. Must be absolutely blinding. Ordinary people cannot even see it, can never even look at it. Because even when we see the sun here, we can't look at it even for a second because it'll damage your eyes. So imagine if there was 100,000 suns out there. So it's quite very, very unusual. So today's verse, 11:13. Tatraikastam jagat krishnam pravibhaktam anekada apashya deva devasya sharire pandavastada. At that time, Arjuna could see the universal form of the Lord, the unlimited expansion. Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe state situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. So the text is straightforward. The first tatraika, actually you see, it's a sandhi of two words. Tatra, which means here or there, tatra, and eka, ekastham, which is in one place. So tatra, so that the two words join and become tatraika, like tatra eka, tatraika. Snanam jagat krishnam meaning the entire universe. So he's seeing the entire complete universe sitting in one place. He's not even having to look around because everything Krishna has arranged in such a way that everything is just there in front of him. So again, quite something quite unimaginable. We'll come to the purport. I forgot to do the invocation, so I'll do it now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Purport Bashir Prabhupada, would somebody like to read this? Maybe Jai Radhika Mataji, you're there, you can read this purport, please.
Yes, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The word tatra there is very significant. It indicates that both Arjuna and Krishna were sitting on the chariot when Arjuna saw the universal form. Others on the battlefield could not see this form because Krishna gave the vision only to Arjuna. Arjuna could see in the body of Krishna many thousands of planets. As we learn from Vedic scriptures, there are many universes and many planets. Some of them are made of earth, some are made of gold, some are made of jewels, some are very great, some are not so great, etc. Sitting on his chariot, Arjuna could see all this, but no one could understand what was going on between Arjuna and Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Chari Swami Iti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasha Jadesh Tarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So again, a short purport, but we will see what we can dig out of that. Main points, I'll just mute that. Okay. So the main points. So here Prabhupada is saying the word tatra or there is very significant. Both Arjuna and Krishna were sitting on the chariot and Arjuna saw the universal form. So it's almost like I was saying, he's not having to look around. Everything actually is just there. Not just the universe, which includes all the thousands of planets, but he can also see past, present, and future. So these different dimensions he's actually seeing, sitting there. So it's again quite unimaginable. We can't even imagine how all that is possible. But Krishna, of course, can do anything, and he gave this vision to Arjuna. So who else? So it is saying, and I say others on the battlefield here. Others on the battlefield could not see this form because Krishna gave the vision only to Arjuna. So while this was the discussion was going on, all the people there, they didn't know what was going on because they didn't know what Arjuna, they could not see what Arjuna was seeing. But somebody else was able to see, or at least see.
Sanjay.
Sanjay, exactly. So Sanjay, because of the mercy or blessings of his spiritual master Vyasadeva, he had the divine vision as well. He was given this Dur Drishti, so he could, Prabhupada explains, like almost like a television. He was sitting there in the Rasta, but everything was revealed to him, just like a film running, and he was literally able to see exactly what Arjuna is seeing. So, mercy of spiritual master can give you these kind of powers. Of course, Vyasadeva is one of the greatest spiritual masters. So yeah, so this is the scene Arjuna is now starting to describe. So one thing that I meant to discuss this a couple of classes ago, but then we ran out of time. But this is something interesting. Why did Arjuna need special vision? You would need to ask. So here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he is posing the question and then also answering it. So the answer is, the question is, why should Arjuna, who directly perceives with his own eyes the sweetness of the Supreme Person, be unable to perceive a partial expansion of the Lord and need to receive divine eyes? So as we know, here Arjuna is seeing the universe, right? He's seeing the whole universe, including past, present, future, everything is seeing there, right? But Krishna in the 10th chapter, which we did just recently, Krishna saying in the I think probably is the last text if I remember correctly, where he says, Vishta Vyaham idam Krishnam. Krishnam, this word Krishnam is used again in that verse. Here we have Krishnam as well, which means entire or whole. He said, Ekam Shena Stito Jagat. He says, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So if Arjuna is seeing Krishna as he is completely, then he should be able to see a little fragment of his as well, because that is what the universal, that's what the universe is, as Krishna explains in the 10th chapter. If you guys can see me, you can see my glasses, you can see my tilak, you can see my hands. So that way, how come Arjuna couldn't see it? Because Arjuna was seeing Krishna, and universal form is part of Krishna. It's only a little part, only a fragment of him. So then he himself says that some explain this by saying that those most excellent eyes which perceive the sweetness of the Supreme Person's human pastimes are exclusive in the scope of perception. They do not perceive the opulence of the Lord's godlike pastimes. So they're very interesting. So Arjuna's eyes were so tuned to seeing Krishna as he is, as a supreme personality of Godhead, that, and don't forget, in the 10th chapter, he's already accepted Krishna, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Paramam Bhavam, that you are the Supreme Lord. So he is seeing him as a Supreme Lord, and in that relationship, he is not able to then see the godlike pastimes. He's seeing him because he's very close to him. He loves him. Before he realized that he was Supreme Personality of Godhead, he loved him as a friend, as a cousin. So because of that, his eyes, his scope of perception was not allowing him to see the godlike pastime. So as we know, Krishna's sweetest, the highest realization that anybody can get is like the gopis. And that is the personal, intimate form of Krishna. The gopis are not interested in the universal form, right? Similarly, so like that, devotees who are at that level, their vision is actually higher, right? So if you look at it from this sense, then it sounds like Krishna had to lower Arjuna's vision, not because when we say, okay, Krishna gave him the divine vision, that seems like it's something much higher. But when you look at it this way, Arjuna's vision was already at the highest level. Then actually Krishna had to make the adjustment downwards so that he can see the sort of other pastimes that he normally wouldn't want to see. And Prabhupada explains this a little bit further in the Srimad Bhagavatam 2nd canto, 1st chapter, text 24. A pure devotee of the Lord, being not accustomed to looking into such mundane, gigantic form of the Lord, requires special vision for this purpose. The Lord therefore favored Arjuna with special vision for looking into this. So you see, it is not a higher vision. It's actually, for Arjuna, it was a step down, so he could see that. I thought that was quite interesting. So then from the purport, Arjuna could see in the body of Krishna many thousands of planets. So as we know, that when Karuna Dakshay Vishnu is lying on the causal ocean, with every breath, when he breathes out, and the Lord doesn't breathe just from his mouth, from every pore of his body, when he breathes out, all the universes come out, and they stay out just for that one breath. And when he withdraws his breath, when he inhales, all the universes go back into his body. So then you can see in each of the, so this I mean, Arjuna of course can't see all this. Arjuna is seeing our universe. So then in each universe, you then have so many different planets like this, right? So we learn from many scriptures there are many universes and many planets. So each universe has got thousands of planets. You can see here some of the main ones shown in the picture, but they are all over. There's so many of them. But Arjuna could see within this universe, he could see all these planets. Then Prabhupada says in the purport, some of them are made of earth, some are made of gold, some are made of jewels. So these are all in our universe. But of course, even the scientists haven't been able to get anywhere near those planets. There's so many different planets in the universe, and they're all different. And the knowledge we have from the Shastra is what we can take and accept. Because the scientists may have been trying for hundreds of years actually, but they haven't been able to even scratch the surface in terms of information about this particular universe. Forget about everything else. So this universe is so vast, and there's so many secrets that we don't know about. In Brahma Samhita, this is confirmed. Yasya Prabha Bhagavato Jagadanda Koti Svashesha Vasudhati Vibhuti Binnam. So Yasya Prabha, Yasya means of whom? Talking about the Lord. Prabha, his effulgence. Yasya Prabha. Bhagavato, so from this effulgence, Jagadanda Koti, Jagadanda, under means an egg, or a shape like egg, a roundish egg. So Jagat under, which means universe. Koti, so Koti means innumerable. Koti, sometimes we say Koti Koti Pranam, right? So thousands of pranam to you. So like this, but in one sense, Koti means unlimited. So many universes are coming out in that effulgence. And Koti Svashesha Vasudhadi. Vasudha means planet, and Adi, so planets and others. So many planets, stars, moons, whatever, right? So many bodies are coming out, universal bodies. Koti Vasudhadi. Vibhuti Bhinnam. Vibhuti means that so many different opulences are there in those planets. Bhinnam. So different jat ke different, like as we say in Hindi, different alag, as we say, different vibhutis, different opulences. So as we were saying here, some planets are made of gold. So that opulence is also there. They're all Bhinnam. So Brahma Samhita confirms this. So the fifth canto, just to continue on that theme, fifth canto talks about 7 different types of oceans that are in this universe. Anybody who's been doing the Bhakti Vaibhav, I know Vishalini Mataji is there. I don't know if Palika Mataji is there. I'm not sure who else is here. Jai Mukunda doesn't look like he's online today. Chandra Chaitanya Prabhu is there, yeah. So maybe you can tell me if you can remember what different kinds of oceans we went through in the 5th chapter, 5th canto.
Milk, honey.
Milk ocean. honey is not mentioned as honey, but yeah, that could be
yes,
right.
Something, yeah. Salt.
Salt, yes. Liquor, correct.
Ghee.
Ghee, very good.
Milk.
Milk, yes.
And I've forgotten one.
You got quite a few, Vishalini Mataji. Thank you so much.
Gold.
No, gold cannot be an ocean. I don't think so. Ocean or sea.
Yogurt.
Yogurt, exactly. Yogurt, yes. So we got salt water.
Salt,
sea,
yeah.
Yeah, salt water, which is nearest to us. Then there's this one we forgot. Sugarcane. Can you imagine having
Sugarcane. That is the one.
of sugarcane? Can you imagine swimming
Mhm.
in that ocean? That must be amazing. Wine. That's we mentioned liquor. Vishali Mataji. Ghee.
Khiro Samudra,
Say again.
Khir
Ghee.
Samudra, Khir.
Ghee. Yeah, ghee. Kheer. Okay,
Yeah.
kheer. That's milk. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Kheer means milk. Yogurt, milk, and sweet pure water. So this is all explained very nicely. Here's we call it oceans, but in this diagram they call it salt, sea. So sea of salt. There you go. Sea of salt, sea of sugar, sea of wine, sea of ghee, yogurt, milk, and pure water. And these are the different dvipas. This is the Bhumandal, and this is all the Bhumandal, and this is like all the different parts of it. Again, very, very nicely explained in the 5th canto. If I pretend that I understand all that, I would be lying. It is so complex that we need to keep reading.
Repeat after
Very, very complex. So I don't fully understand it, but it's all there. And eventually, you say that you keep reading it, eventually fall into life. So, and then in the purport, one second, let me just mute that. Yeah. And then, yeah, Prabhupada says in the purport, some universes are great and some are not. So, as we know, we are one of the smallest universes. There are universes which are far, far bigger than this particular universe. And you can imagine if universes are bigger, by extension, all the people, the inhabitants must be powerful, much more powerful. So we are here in one of the smallest universes, and yet we are so proud of our existence. But as Brahma found out, as we all know, we've done this story before, Brahma once wanted to go and see Krishna, but at the gate, the Dwarpals, the gatekeepers, asked him, "You wait here, but we'll go and tell Krishna, ask Krishna whether he can see you now." So he says, "What's your name?" He says, "I'm Brahma." So they go in there, they come back a little while later, and they say, "Krishna is asking, which Brahma are you?" So Brahma says, "What? I'm Brahma." Then he says, "Okay, just tell him that I'm Brahma, the father of Sanat Kumaras." Then they go back and they come back. It's okay, fine, you can go in. So they go in, and then whatever he had to discuss, he discusses with Krishna. Then he says, "Can I ask you a question? Why did you ask which Brahma? Don't you know? Don't you know I am Brahma?" He says, "I know you are Brahma." But then, with a snap of his finger, he made all the other Brahmas appear. So in this picture, you can see there are Brahmas with many, many, many heads, right? So the larger the universe, the more the heads. So you can imagine, Brahma, 4-headed Brahma is the smallest. We don't have 3-headed or 2-headed. 4-headed Brahma is the smallest, but there are many, many Brahmas with many, many more heads. So again, it gives us perspective about how tiny, how puny we are. Then Prabhupada says, sitting on his chariot, Arjuna could see all these, meaning universes, the planets, but no one could understand what was going on between Arjuna and Krishna. So we cannot see or experience what we don't have adhikar for. So this is something important to remember, that we can only see what we are eligible for. And all the rest of them didn't have the adhikar. Arjuna got the adhikar by Krishna's mercy, but the rest of them didn't have the adhikar. That's why you don't see them. That's why, when we have these space programs and you get all these spacemen, they all astronauts going to the moon, I think moon is the only place where they've actually landed, isn't it? I don't think they've landed anywhere else. But all they can do is collect some rocks and sand. And when they go there, all they can see is that. So they conclude that there is actually nothing there except rocks and sand. But we know from Shastra that every planet is inhabited. Even the sun has got living entities. Now we sit here and we think, oh, come on, how can anybody live on the sun? But you see, just on this planet, we have examples of fish living in water. So if our bodies Our bodies cannot. We can go and swim in the water and perhaps stay underwater for a minute or two, or maybe a little bit longer, but we need to come out straight away because our bodies are not made to live in the water. But the fish can easily live in the water. And there are also some amphibians who can live in the water and land. So they have got this special type of bodies. So similarly, Prabhupada explains that in the sun, there are living entities. So just like on earth, our bodies are predominantly made of water. They're made of 5 elements, but predominantly water. I think 70 or 80% of our body is water. So similarly, the living entities in the sun are predominantly fire. So they're able to live there. So similarly, there are planets, there are living entities everywhere, but we don't have the adhikar. With these astronauts who go there, they don't have the vision to see. So this is why they can't see anything. And they will never be able to see anything. So the example can be given about how Shukadeva Goswami, as we know, he was like an avaduta. Shukadeva Goswami used to walk around almost naked. So when he was walking around, he used to go through some villages, and the people, the children and children mainly, they would think he's a madman, walking around naked like that. And they would tease him, they would call him names, they would throw stones at him and everything. But one time they were following him like this, throwing stones and calling him names and everything. And he arrived at the bank of Ganga. And there all these sages, including Parikshit Maharaj, were waiting and deciding what to do the 7 days. And as soon as they saw Shukadeva Goswami, you can see in this picture, all of them started to pay their obeisances and offer so much respects to him. So he was the same person, the same almost naked person that the villagers were teasing and thinking he was mad. But here suddenly all these exalted sadhus, so you can see in the picture that even Narad Muni is there, Vyasdev is there. So all of them are giving him so much respect. So then the villagers realized that, oh, they were teasing this person, but obviously he is somebody very, very extraordinary. So the villagers did not have the adhikar to recognize Shukadeva Goswami. But the sages had the adhikar, and immediately they recognized him. So even for us, when we see a personality, we as they say, never judge a book by its cover. We should never jump to conclusions. Somebody might seem like a very, very simple devotee, but he could be very, very exalted. And there are many examples of this, where somebody seemingly is sort of just a beginner, but actually he's got very, very deep realizations in him. Right? So in the same way, the materialists or atheists, they can neither understand or appreciate Krishna Katha or Kirtan. They would, if they come to Krishna Katha, they would sit there getting bored because they can't get the rasa. They haven't got the adhikar here to hear. And when you talk about Kirtan, they sometimes, I know I was giving somebody a lift in my car, not from the temple, but one of my nephews. And when I dropped him off, what he said to me was, he says, all the time, last half an hour in the car, all I've heard is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He says, don't you guys have any other lyrics? So you see, he didn't have the taste for it. We can listen to the same mantra all day long because we have somehow, by the mercy of devotees and by the mercy of Krishna, we have got the taste for it. We have got the adhikar for it. But they normally, the other people would think, what's wrong with this? We're only listening to one thing. If you listen to a film song, you can listen to it once, twice, 3 times, but then you want to change. But Harikatha and Krishna Nam, you can keep listening to it 24 hours a day. We used to have the New Year's Eve, I don't know, some of you may remember at the Mana, we used to have the New Year's Eve program. And we used to get there for about 7 o'clock, as early as possible, because the temple room would be jam-packed, absolutely jam-packed. By the time 8 o'clock came, you couldn't get in. So everybody would stay out. Now they stopped doing it because I think the neighbors complained about the noise or something like that. But the thing was that we would sit there, and you imagine in the temple room, because there's so many people, you're squeezed in like sardines. Well, not a good example, but really packed up, right? You can't even you can't even fold your legs and keep them proper comfortably. You have to be really set tight. You are touching each other. Can't even move, because as you when you sit down on the floor, all of us are not accustomed to sit on the floor for long times. So we need to move. We need to stretch our legs. We need to sort of change our positions. But in that evening, 7 to 1 p.m., you are stuck there. You can't even move. You can't change your position. This is how tight it is. And what's going on? Kirtan. Nothing more than, not even bhajans, just kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Different devotees in different tunes. But that's all we have, just kirtans. But we are relishing it. We don't know where time goes, right? It's midnight, and they used to have these balloons drop down at midnight. They used to open the darshan for us at midnight. Just amazing time. And then about 12:30, 1 o'clock, we'd all have some prasadam. But you see, we could sit there and tolerate the cramped arrangements, because we have the taste. We have the taste. Otherwise, people would say, you're mad. All my friends would start sending me messages about midnight, start getting messages from your friends, your Karmi friends. Happy New Year, and now I'm doing this. And they're all and having different parties and different clubs and everything. And then when they ask you, where are you? Which I'm at the temple, they think you are mad. But you see, it's question of rasa, question of taste. So devotees, we will stop here, 8:34. Let me see, nothing more, I think. Oh, no, there's some more. Okay, we'll come back to it later, because I think 8:34 is enough. What I will do, stop sharing this, and open up for questions, comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
One question I wanted to ask, it was regarding today's lecture.
Yeah.
You said, when Arjuna had seen Krishna in the most ultimate form of love, but in whole of Kurukshetra and Mahabharata, everybody was seeing Krishna, weren't they, in that physical form?
Yes.
So for me, I was a little bit not able to understand that. Obviously, he needed special vision to see Vishnu, Mahavishnu form of his, the main. I couldn't understand as to say, you said only, Krishna, Arjuna could see Krishna in that loving form. But the whole of the Mahabharata, the whole of the Kurukshetra people were also seeing him, isn't it?
Yes. No, what the purport says is that only Arjuna could see this universal form.
Okay, universal form.
Yeah, because other people didn't have that vision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wanting to say something else, but it got lost. It'll come back again, Prabhu.
You can come back again, no problem. But in terms of, yes, everybody was seeing Krishna. Everybody on the battlefield was seeing Krishna. But
yes.
everybody was not seeing him as a Supreme Lord. This is the difference. Even Duryodhan wasn't seeing him as a Supreme Lord.
Yes,
so,
he was seen as a common person. That's
right. At best, he was seeing him as somebody very powerful, but still a human being.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the class.
Thank you.
Please accept my obeisances. Hare Krishna. I just had a bit of a comparison between the sort of Russian Orthodox Church, because it kind of helps me to understand how maybe Sanjay was able to see Krishna's form from a distance. There was this story about an elder in the monastery. They call them elders, and they live quite an ascetic, renounced life, and they pray a lot. So it's a little bit like a yogi, I suppose. And there was a story about his disciple who went to stay at the monastery, and then he became a monk as well, but then he went outside the monastery for some time to visit some relatives maybe, and he ended up watching some TV, and then he got a call or a letter from the elder saying, I have sanctioned you to go to see your family, but I have not sanctioned you to watch television. So he immediately knew somehow. So he wrote about this in his book, this monk. And I guess so Krishna allows saintly people to see as much as they need to, I suppose. So this is...
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's very interesting. Exactly. So these elders probably are sannyasis or something like that, right? So they, of course, they are very close to Krishna, and they are able to see all this. They are able to, they get the premonition almost about what's going on there. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Very nice. Yes.
Yeah, I was just thinking, Prabhu, yes, Prabhupada, when his disciples say when Prabhupada looked at them, they thought that he could see right through them and knew everything about them at just one glance.
So true. So true. There are many pastimes about Prabhupada where the devotee would go into the room and something that he had not done, or something he had done not rightly or something, he was thinking, okay, I'll just go and I'll do this and then I'll come out and I'll do it later. Prabhupada will not ask me now. But invariably, Prabhupada will asking about that thing that he was trying to hide. So Prabhupada had that as well.
Yes, Bhakti Churu Swami tells a story about one time Prabhupada asked him to get some vegetables, and he couldn't get one of the vegetables. I think it was bitter melon.
Bitter melon,
You
yes.
heard that story.
Yes, yeah, that was
and
go on, yes.
he said to Prabhupada, yes, I got the bitter melon. He didn't tell him he didn't get it. And then, he was searching everywhere. But anyway, he said Prabhupada knew that he didn't get the bitter melon. So it was quite a funny story.
That's it. And that was quite amazing because he actually, although there's a market, he sent people to the market, they couldn't find bitter melon. Nowhere he could find bitter melon. And he was really sort of sad about it. And he was walking back to the kitchen, and just lying there on some wall or something, just one bitter melon, just sitting there. Somehow it got there. So Krishna's arrangement. And then when he went in there, Prabhupada asked him, where did you get the bitter melon? So Prabhupada knew. So Prabhupada arranged this bitter melon to arrange it almost, to arrive there. Yes, exactly. So these are very, very amazing pastimes, which we have to understand and believe that there is a lot more power that devotees, when they get much closer to Krishna, that they are able to exhibit. It is said that, in the stage of higher stages of devotion, in the stages of bhava bhakti and all that, the devotees actually, if they want to, they are able to exhibit many mystic powers. But devotees choose not to. Because the devotees, sometimes if you get carried away with the mystic powers and you get stuck in there and you fall down again. So devotees will not. And there's a just now we're reading about King Bharat. No, before King Bharat. Who was the king who went and he also behaved like an avaduta? Rishabhadev, yes, thank you for reminding me. Rishabhadev, he had all the powers, but he decided not to use them, not because he didn't. Those powers for them, for devotees, the powers are still material. They're not interested in anything material. So yes, when we get advanced, we will have those powers, but necessarily devotees are not interested in using them.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Joli Mataji.
And there's also a pastime story with Prabhupada when one of the devotees didn't wash the dishes well. Is that right? And I believe Krishna complained to Prabhupada.
Okay.
So he knew before, he knew all about it, and then he saw the devotees and they were stunned that Prabhupada knew about it.
That's it. Thank you for sharing that. And the other one also is when he went to a particular temple after like like a big gap. And he arrived there at the first darshan. He said, "Why have you not been feeding the deities properly?"
Mm.
He could see the deities had lost weight. Now, for you and I, the deities are made of marble or stone, so they can't lose weight. But he could see that they had lost weight, and the devotees admitted they had financial difficulties. They were not able to offer full bhoga.
My goodness. Yeah.
These things are very, very mystical. Very mystical.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I was told in another discourse that Lord Hanuman also saw the universal form.
Okay. That one I haven't heard, but it well could be. Hanuman.
Because I know he was on his statue was on the flag of the chariot that Arjuna.
Yeah, Hanuman was on the flag.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's how, but I was told in a discourse for sure that he was the one who saw with Sanjaya.
That's interesting. To be honest, I haven't come across that, but it well could be right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Premana Mataji. Okay, devotees, we haven't done introductions for a little while, so maybe we can do that today. We got some time today. It's just a couple of minutes. So who can I see online here? So Mataji, who asked the question just now, it says M's phone, iPhone.
Prabhu, this is Mamta Pradhan. I was introduced to this group by Prabhu called Divya. I'm not getting the full name. He's in the Matsya group of
Divya Gaurangi.
Divya Gaur. Okay, Matsya group. He was there because I had taken the Bhagavatam. This time I had bought the Bhagavatam. I was just asking about the golden throne, and that's how I got introduced.
Oh, very
and
nice.
then he sent the link, and I could only attend one of the Zoom call because I think after that, I don't know, there was no link. Something happened.
Oh.
And then suddenly they sent me yesterday a different link,
Oh.
And that's how I couldn't come yesterday because it was so busy with Radha Ashtami and everything, so I couldn't. But I'm really thoroughly enjoying the Zoom calls, and it's quite convenient. The timings are very nice.
Very good, very good. And how long have you been in